Welcome to Range World, the podcast where life, development, leadership, growth, intentionality, and experience come into balance right before your very ears. And now, here's your tour guide into Range World, the president of Get Life in Balance, Rain Kansman.
All right, welcome back to Rain's World. And today on Leadership Lessons, we have Mr. Michael Boland with us. And Michael is a business consultant, sales advisor to domestic and international organizations on a wide variety of sales, organizational and leadership issues. His strengths in his ability to tackle issues, open minds, and convert problems into opportunities. He distills complex issues into workable solutions. I like that. Defining for all players the current scenario, the desired outcome, and a strategy for achieving it. Michael moves people and companies from inertia to focused path and measurable success. Merging over 30 years of experience with the best current thinking, he drives and enacts positive change and instills belief systems that convert challenges into achievements. I love that, Michael. Welcome to the show.
I'll try to live up to all of that, Rain. That's a lot there.
Yeah, well, your years in the business and doing that. I do want to add another piece that Michael is one of my valued partners and mentors over the years, especially when I was first getting into my business. A lot of times on the phone, Michael, is this how it goes?
Well, it's been an honor and a privilege to be working with you like I have over 25 years now, Rain.
Yeah.
Think about that. And you have come so far, and I love what you're doing now. And you've got so far to go. You're such a young man.
Thank you, sir.
At this new career of yours.
Well, thank you very much. And today you chose the topic mental toughness, which I knew you probably used to keep your business going in certain times. But tell me, what do you mean by mental toughness or true grit?
Sure. First of all, you have really learned to adopt this approach to work and to life in general. So I applaud you for actually modeling it.
Well, thank you.
I always like to start this topic with a question that we all have, and that is, why is it we seem to look at some people and see that they're such a strong leader and such a strong personal friend, or why even such a great athlete? What differentiates the great athlete? What makes people better parents than other parents?
Mm-hmm.
What makes us better partners and spouses to our loved ones? Mm-hmm. That's a question that we're always asking ourselves, probably for the reason of, why can't we be a little better ourselves?
Yeah, we all have time to improve, need to improve, right?
Yeah. So when I look at this, it all came together for me when I read an article and became associated with a researcher out of the University of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Her name is Angela Duckworth.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw it further reinforced by a gentleman that I watched a podcast of another professional like yourselves, James Clear, who was on a podcast with Ryan Hawk on Mindful Mondays. And they finally were able to pull it together for me that made sense.
Okay.
So if I can, I'll just look at some of my notes, and Angela started her conversation about this by doing a study that, whether we know it or not, every year there are about 1,300 cadets that show up at West Point,
okay,
to begin their military career in their 4 years of West Point. And every year, some make it and some don't.
Yeah.
The first summer of their 4 years, they actually have to show up about 6 weeks ahead of time. And they're required to complete a series of brutal tests that is often called beast barracks.
Wow.
And this beast barracks is deliberately engineered to test the very limits of these cadets' physical, mental, emotional, and even spiritual capabilities. Now, you might imagine that these are the best of the best that even got into West Point or any of our military academies. So you would just think it's the bigger and the stronger and the faster that are the ones, or the maybe even more importantly, the most intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
And yet what we have found out is, as important as intelligence and experience is, it's only about 30% of what really constitutes or makes up our success.
Wow.
There's something
Okay.
bigger than even intelligence. Duckworth's studying achievement showed that the mental toughness, the perseverance, I call these the 3 P's, perseverance, passion, and purpose,
Mm-hmm.
are the ones that really impacted their abilities to survive the beast barracks. Now, this was studied over 2 different years. So over 2,400 cadets were studied over a 2-year period. And what she found out was it wasn't the strength or the smarts that provided, or even maybe the leadership potential. It was what she termed grit.
Oh,
Grit.
okay.
Grit is that perseverance and passion to achieve the long-term goals that make up the difference. And there's one word that really captures all of that, and that word is called consistency.
Okay.
Being able to have the mental toughness to withstand any challenge or secure any opportunity in a consistent way. And I'm going to get into that in a little while.
Okay. Wow. Wow. That's really interesting research. I saw a TED talk with Angela Duckworth, and wow, she's incredible. And this, yeah. So yeah, I want to hear more. Tell me, what does it take? I mean, to have that mental toughness.
Well, in thinking about that question, I go to, where is it useful? Is it just useful to our military folks? And what Angela found out is that's not the case at all.
Mm-hmm.
That it applies to any field in of our endeavors,
Okay.
both in a professional side as well as a personal side. So those that are in banking and investments, business, journalism, academia, even someone in medicine and law. And then on a personal side, it could be what gets us through adversity in the way of challenges. How about competition? I was on vacation last week, and I heard of something about the 2021 spelling bee champion.
Mm-hmm.
And when I think about how they described her, it really is about mental toughness. It's not about being that IQ nerd that knows how to spell anything. So anyway, so to answer your question though, it's to answer your question, what makes us mentally tough?
Mm-hmm.
What is the difference between those that have that grit and that perseverance and those that don't? And again, I use the word consistency. I'm also going to introduce the word discipline.
Okay.
So it starts with just showing up. Keith Hawk, my co-author of Get Real Selling,
Mm-hmm.
a true grit leader himself, who's raised 3 wonderful, strong young men, he and Judy probably even stronger.
Okay.
When it comes to grit. They go through their day with a consistency.
Okay.
If you're an athlete, you just don't miss the workouts. And when you get there, it's kind of like what Vince said. It's not practice, it's perfect practice. So you work harder at your practice than you do in your games.
Mm-hmm.
You don't miss assignments, whether you're in school, whether you're at work. You don't miss assignments. Our youngest daughter, Bethany, always surprised me how she would have her assignments done 2 weeks in advance.
Oh,
and she
my.
was a quiet, unassuming girl, but when it came to being disciplined, she would do those things.
That's great.
The other thing is that they're consistent about is they help others. Jerry Rice, probably the best of all receivers
Mm-hmm.
in the history of football.
Mm-hmm.
When they asked Jerry, why did he go through those gruesome workouts before they were even popular,
Right.
running with a parachute on your back for 100 yards
Yeah.
and things like that? They said, Jerry, how does that help you catch a football better?
Mm-hmm.
Jerry said, it doesn't. What it does is it helps me be a better teammate and help my team win. So it's about how we help others. That's what true grit brings. So I bring that word consistency, but I talk about disciplines such as working to a schedule,
Mm-hmm.
to be prepared when we show up, work like a pro, act like a pro, live like a pro, love like a pro.
I love that.
And I know love touches your heart.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Oh my. There's a lot to take in there, and a lot of pieces. And a side note, that I look at that. My brother and I were very close, about 16 months. He was 16 months younger than me. We were about the same size, about the same build, and yet he went on to be an All-American football and baseball player for level 2 college. And had it not been that he hurt himself, he might have been playing, pro baseball at this point. And it's interesting because that probably back then they didn't, call that, or didn't have that research, but that probably differentiated him between his athletic career and mine. I would bet at that point. And I would imagine that we have that, as you said, I have that in certain areas, but I would imagine if it's something we're passionate about, that just wells up in us more.
That's an interesting story. I have a similar one I have 5 brothers, four brothers and 2 sisters.
Wow.
And 4 of us were born within 6 years. It was right after the war, World War II. And, mom and dad were just very much in love. And so I got to grow up with these 4 brothers. And then I got one more later on in life. And we just learned to do all these things together. And like you just said, what you just described is how you and your brother probably made each other better. I'm sure if I was speaking to your brother, he would be talking about the success that you have had in your career, both in the corporate world at Cisco, as well as what you've done, the courage that it took to do what you're doing. So I'm sure he holds you up in his high esteem. I have 2 brothers that are lefties, and lefties tend to be better athletes in some, at least in family.
They have some advantages. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So my brother JD, great pitcher, great basketball player. My younger brother Bob, great golfer, shoots both hands with basketball. And I found out the only way that I could compete with them, having average abilities, was I could out hustle.
Yeah.
I could out hustle any of them. And that's mental toughness.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So I have one more question before that. Just another type you just brought up there. My brother and I often played one-on-one basketball against each other.
Yeah.
And I am totally right-handed. He knew if I was going for a layup, I was only going to the right side. So he didn't, he had 50% of the basket to cover, right?
Yes.
And he could use either hand. So yeah, that was cool. All right. Yeah. So on our mental toughness, and great pieces there, Michael. If I'm a young leader or even a veteran leader, how will I benefit from having mental toughness?
As I said before, mental toughness is a way of life. Mm-hmm. It's something you incorporate into your very being. And what is it trying to do for you? It is helping you become the best you can be. Yeah. I believe that mental toughness isn't about just leaving it all out there and saying, I did all I could, but it's the way that we excel and the way we compete and the way we help everyone be better. So the first thing that mental toughness does for me, quite honestly, is it gives me that sense of peace, an inner peace that knows that I did all that I could using every bit of my God-given gifts and talents that he gave me, and do it, quite honestly, for his greater honor and glory.
Yeah.
And how do we do that? By how we work with everyone else. So the first thing is that inner peace that no, I put it all out there. I ran the race. The second one that I think is important is that it helps us stay conditioned.
Okay.
I've just crossed into the new decade of the 70s. And yes, and one of the things that I always test myself for is, am I still relevant? Am I still relevant for my clients? Am I still relevant for my children, my grandchildren, and now a great grandchild? I want to be relevant to them. I want to be able to contribute to their better well-being.
Mm-hmm.
So it does give me that sense of knowing I have that capability, because I have that mental toughness to do that. If you look at some of the benefits of this, all you have to do is watch some of the sports that have been going on in these finals.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll just bring up the golf one.
Mm-hmm.
The way people handle themselves in winning and not winning. One of the things I love about the Olympics,
Mm-hmm.
when someone comes in and they came in as a bronze,
Mm-hmm.
the interviewers are always saying, "Wow, you really did so well. You must really be disappointed that you didn't get that silver or that gold." And what are they saying? I feel great. I love what I did.
Yeah.
I performed. I placed.
Yeah.
And I was able to do that for myself and for my country.
Yeah.
There's no negativity.
No.
So it does give you that sense of accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
that you did compete. Even as a parent, it really helps when you can just say at the end of the day, I helped my daughter, I helped my son be a little better today.
Yeah. Well,
as a professional, though,
mm-hmm.
mental toughness in this world of competition that we have out there, and it's virtual competition today, as well as being face to face.
Right.
It's knowing that I saw what the best was, and I strive to be a little better.
Absolutely.
So we constantly are making ourselves and others around us better. That's what mental toughness does for me.
Wow. That's a lot. So a couple things, Michael, you were very relevant for my listeners. I appreciate that. you are on top of your game still, my friend, no matter what age. And the thing that really struck me, because when you first said inner peace, I'm okay, what does he mean by that? But I've experienced that several times. My best days are the days that I can look at myself in the mirror at the end of the day and go, I gave it everything I had. I didn't leave anything on the table. I sleep so much better.
Yeah.
That's that inner peace.
That is.
So thanks for bringing the inner peace and the wisdom to this series, my friend. I know we're going to do another one, and you're going to talk about mind talk. I can't wait for that one too.
I'm looking forward to it as well.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Yep.
I want to thank you. I want to applaud you for creating this platform, this venue for all of us to learn to be better.
Well, thank you.
And it's an honor, as I said earlier, just to be able to contribute to all those that are out there.
Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. You have a great day.
You too.
This has been another leadership lesson from Rain's World. If this kind of learning whets your appetite, leaving you wanting for another helping of this kind of content, visit me at getlifeinbalance.com.